We are now in chapter 6 of Desjardins' Introduction to Business Ethics, and chapter 6 is on the employee rights at work. This is aspect 1, in which we're going to discuss why rights are needed. We're going to discuss 3 possible kinds of right at work: right to work, right to a job, and right to keep a job. In this aspect 1, we're only going to get to the right to work. Right to a job and right to keep a job will be discussed in subsequent aspects. So, the reason why we are discussing rights at work is that there is something important at stake in work. If there wasn't anything important there, then it would not need to be protected and recognized in rights. It's only something that's deeply important and fundamental to human well-being that's going to be recognized by rights. Without work, one cannot survive. And without work, one cannot be autonomous, or perhaps develop those unique human capacities that are needed for happiness. Those are references to the liberal theory and the human potential theories or models of work that we have gone over in the last section. Given the importance of work, it must be protected by and recognized in rights. The sense of employee rights we are examining is the moral sense, not the legal sense or contractual sense. Legal sense refers to whatever rights there may be by law, and contractual sense refers to rights based on agreement between employer and employee. The basic for the moral sense of rights is not law nor agreement, but human nature itself. And these rights recognize what it would mean to treat human beings as fitting of human nature. There are 3 meanings of work rights: right to work, right to a job, and right to keep a job. After the more theoretical discussion of what it may mean for there to be good work and rights in the workplace, as we have done in the previous chapter 5, we now move to a more applied context. In what sense can we locate workers' rights in our current situation? So that's the applied context. We are moving from theory to applying it to our current situation. It seems that there are 3 possible meanings of rights at work in the more applied context. Let's examine these meanings. First, there is the right to work interpretation of workers' rights. It merely says that one can work in a unionized place without joining the labor union. Right to work rights are really rights to work without joining a union. Desjardins argues that there are 2 problems with this position. It amounts to free riding by those who do not join the union and do not pay union dues. They benefit from higher salaries and other benefits won by the union without paying for financing those efforts by the union. Also, without union, employers and employees do not have equal bargaining power. The bargaining power of employers is much higher than that of employees. In other words, employees have to compromise much more than employers do when it comes to bargaining. There are more employees than there are employers, and an employer can withhold higher wages and other benefits by finding someone else to do the same work for less. Hence, employers have greater bargaining power than do employees. Most of the time, usually. Obviously, there are some exceptions. If you are a rocket scientist of the kind that there is only 1 or 2 other in the country, then you will have a higher bargaining power than your employer who needs you. But for most of the rest of work, there simply are more employees than there are employers. And so an employer can always find someone else. For that reason, employees compromise much more than do employers in their discussion of conditions of work. But if employees bargain collectively and agree that no one takes positions for lower pay and benefits, then the pay and benefits go up, right? That's what a labor union is in principle. All members of labor union agree that no one will work the job for less and with fewer working benefits than the union demands. And that way, the bargaining power of employees can become equal to that of employers. So the right to work interpretation of employee rights, this right to work without a union doesn't seem to amount to all that much, and also does not seem to be fair, Desjardins argues. Hence, concludes Desjardins, the right to work interpretation is not part of the moral rights at work.